and he gets beat up every single Saturday, it seems. Now he's 2 weeks rested. How big is that for you on Saturday?
Well, that's great. It's been good for him. He certainly has been a workhorse for us, so he's taken a lot of hits, and so we've done a good job, I think, of managing, his, in this world that we're in now with GPS and all that stuff, and really monitoring these players' workload and what their work capacity is as we, evaluate a guy like him, for example, on what his Tuesday practice looks like, in relative to what he's done on game day. So just managing him, I think we've done a good job with that. Bina and our training staff, they do a great job of just kind of keeping us in tune, and I think that's helped him, stay healthy. And but definitely, it's been good for him just to kind of have a week off to reset for this month of November.
And on the other side of the ball, when you and Coach Goodwin have talked about being physical in this game, and maybe it's because I've never been in a football practice, but how do you practice physicality without hurting each other?
Yeah, well, I just think when you play football, there's a callousness, I guess, that comes with it, and it just takes a little time. If any of you've played football in here, if you can remember the first time you put pads on, right, and back in the day, and man, you'd be about sore as crap for about 3 days, and then all of a sudden you didn't feel it anymore. And you're falling and tumbling and getting hit, and you just don't feel it. It's just like norm. But that comes with playing the game, and it comes with practicing a certain way. And so it's no different in that, we don't go and tackle, but how we've prepared since August, all through camp to develop that physicality. You don't just show up in November and say, all right, we're a physical team. All right, we're going to be tough today. That doesn't work. You're probably 4-4 right now. That's just doesn't work that way. So it goes back to camp and creating that callousness in your body, so to speak. And then it's how you practice. And so we practice tough and physical on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I've always believed in that. We're never going to get away from that. Unless they just say we got to go out there and, underwear every day. We practice tough on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And we've done that for 14 years. And I think that's and we get better as we go. And I think we've been a very physical team, for a long time. You don't win at the highest level. You're not going to beat Alabama if you're not a physical football team. Just not going to happen. And so, not that you're perfect, but you have to have a toughness, physical toughness and mental toughness, and I think that's a part of it too. But to answer your question is we're good on good. We do good on good one period on Mondays. We do good on Tuesdays. We do good on Wednesdays, and we practice tough. It's physical. These are competitive guys, and so when we go inside drill today, and it's Walker Parks and Brian Brzee, you have to show up, and it's full pads. Even though we're not tackling people to the ground, there's a physicality in that offensive line and defensive line that you better show up to practice with, or it's going to be a bad day. There's no brother-in-law on it out there, and so then you're going good on good pass rush, one-on-one pass rush. You're doing good on good scale, good on good team pass. We usually finish the day with a little O versus D period, a little fastball. And again, you also have to be smart as far as taking people to the ground and things like that. But we'll have what we call thud, and we'll do a live 2-minute drill on Wednesday. Wednesday we're in shells, but we're still inside. We're still team pass. We're still scale. We're still OLDL. There's a lot. So again, it's just how you practice every single day to try to create that, and then it's your scout team presentations. You have to when you're in your separate periods, team separate, and you're going against scout looks. It's how you practice in those periods and the type of looks that you get from your scout team to try to create the very best you can. The mentality. I'm gonna take T.J. Dudley today and put him at running back. Because his nickname is Bull, and this is bully ball. These dudes will bully you if you let them. I mean, these are 3 backs that are really, really good players, and they have a physical mentality, and it just comes with your approach every day and how you go to work.
You just faced a really good running team and a really good running back in the last game, but does run support change when you face a team with this kind of physical approach?
Absolutely.
Does it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you have to. I mean, you want to mix it up. You don't want to just have the same pitch every time, but you want to mix it up as far as how you support it. Is it corner support? Is it safety support? I mean, there's different ways in how you commit to that. But then also, there's times where it's coverage, and you're going to try to hold up. But if they hurt you, then you've got to. I mean, you got to expose yourself. You got to play some man coverage, and you got to commit more people to the box, more numbers to the box. So that's just the way it is, and that's all goes back to how you match up, inside. All goes back to the front. Our guys defeating blocks, even though that and which gives you an extra guy. If you got a guy that's winning his matchup, well, then maybe you can be a little more coverage. But if they're blocking you, then you have to commit more resources to it.
Dabo, where's Kobe Pace right now?
He's much better. He's much better. He's probably next week. That's kind of where we are. We were hopeful for this week, but he's probably not going to make it this week. He's going to be close. I think he's going to be close for Saturday, but probably more next week.
Maffa had one of his best games against Syracuse, 2 fourth-down conversions, including a touchdown. I know you've been saying for a long time his day is coming, but you look across the country for a number 2 or number 3 back, he's got to be pretty close to the top.
Oh, he's special. Yeah, I think we have 3 elite backs. I think we got three guys that'll play in the NFL one day. I don't think there's any question about it. We'll look back in 5 years and everybody's going to go, man, they had Shipley, Maffa, and Pace all on the same team. Why didn't they hand them the ball more? So I think that day will come. Right now they're all at different stages in their careers and development. But Maffa's special. I mean, he is a really, really talented back, and he's unique. To be as big as he is and as fast as he is. He's got great hips. He's got great vision in the hole. He catches the ball well. He's a really good protector, and he's just starting to really hit his stride. I think from a confidence standpoint. So we're very blessed to have the guys we got.
How beneficial do you think the open week was to get Brzee and XT back to their conditioning, full game ready shape?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from XT, because he's done a great job on his conditioning side, it's just 2 more weeks of just great healing in that foot. And just, because, again, it's not something that he's got to play with all year. It's one of those things from where he started, gets better as he goes. Because, they wouldn't have let him go play if the healing wasn't where where he could play. But there was going to be a little bit of pain involved, and that's just getting better and better and better. So you'll see him ramp it up, over this month. I've got high expectations for him in November, and we're going to need him. We're going to need him down the stretch here to be, and that's, hey, and he obviously it was a tough situation for him in camp, but he's gotten a couple of games under his belt and kind of gotten the rust off of himself. He's gotten some conditioning back going. He's in the best spot that he's been as far as how he actually feels and his ability to really do what he wants to do. He's been a player of the game on 6 snaps, so he's got confidence. So I think this is an opportunity for him to really, because we got 4 more games and we got something in postseason as well. So I think he's got a chance to really finish well and have a great ending. And then Brian, it's been great because. Obviously, he's missed a lot in his conditioning and just football speed, not quite where it needs to be. Just because he missed a lot of time. So it's been good. Good week last week, and off to a good start this week. But same thing. If he's on the field, for the month of November, he'll have a great finish to the season. There's no doubt about that.
Speaking of injuries, yesterday T-Bone explained to us about his moped incident and then how he slammed his own head in his own car door. Have you considered like putting him in some sort of bubble or?
Yeah, he's his daddy's boy, that's for sure. Holy moly, he's had some weird injuries for sure, but he just keeps going. He really does, and he was that way in high school. I mean, he played with a separated shoulder. I don't know, several games in high school, but he's a tough kid. Yeah, the moped thing, that was, he had to miss a game. And so that was a tough day for him. So.
And he's having a good season by any measure.
Yeah. And if we can just keep him available, he'll do more. So he just, you want to just wrap him up in some bubble wrap or something. But he's a tough kid, and he wanted to play the one week, but he couldn't. He was completely cut up. His whole face looked terrible, and he had a little kind of concussion symptoms as well. So that set him back. But he's back in a good spot. So the week off has been good for him, and good start last night.
Dabo, what are the things you remember about watching DJ play against Notre Dame back in 2020?
Man, he was just amazing. I just remember, the big plays, how he kept his poise, how he led. He was awesome. I mean, it was a great night. I mean, he had a couple big plays to Cornell in particular that I remember, and wasn't too big for him, Obviously, he'd got a chance to play against Boston College the week before. So it wasn't the first time for him to run out there, but he just executed the plan well and made a bunch of big plays. And I remember the second overtime there where they called us in, right, and then reviewed it and said they called us out, or they reviewed it and said we were in. I think gave us a touchdown. And then we're getting ready to kick the extra point, and they called timeout again. We're going to review the review. You remember that? It was the first. I think it was the first time in the history of football that they reviewed the review. And they said, no, we didn't mean it. Now you got to go do it again. And we were able to get it in there at the end. But anyway, he was great. A lot of big plays that he made. Made some beautiful throws and did everything he could to give us a chance, and we came up short. It was a heck of a game, and tough one to lose.
Dabo, we're 8 weeks into the season. We're entering the championship phase, as you call it. How do you assess the previous 8 weeks? Is the team where you thought they would be? If not, what do they need to do, starting with this Notre Dame game?
Well, so November 1. So this is we got our first win, November 1, 2008, when I became the head coach. And so that's kind of fitting for us as far as why we start the championship phase, November. When you get to November, this is when you have to be at your best. This is when divisions are being settled. This is when conferences are being settled. This is when, state rivalries are being settled. This is when national bigger pictures are being determined. And so it's huge, and everything builds, it all builds from as we break our year down, getting ready to transformation to prime time. And we started prime time August 1st, and we've been but it all builds. It all builds, just like a business has a first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, right? I mean, it all builds. And this is when you want to be at your best. So to answer your question, and you make adjustments all along the way. It never goes exactly the way you want it, but where we are, we're where we hope to be. We're 8-0. Did we necessarily get here the way I envisioned it? No, but rarely does that happen. And occasionally, but rarely. It's mostly, there's a lot of challenges along the way, and navigating those and making decisions. And but we're in a good spot. And there's 6 undefeated teams in the country, 131 teams. It's hard to win. It's hard to win, and especially in college football, especially to win every week. It's really, really difficult to win. And yeah, I mean, we're in a good spot. And as far as what we got to do, we got to get back on track, taking care of the ball. Again, we had 3 turnovers in 7 games. That was a huge part of us being 7-0. And then all of a sudden you have 4 turnovers in 1 game. That's got to be a one-off, because you're not gonna win many games. It's a miracle that we won that one. We've been really good on third down. This has been one of the better third down teams that we've had. So we've got to continue to do that. I think we're doing a great job there. We've had good balance. We've been explosive at times. We've had some huge plays. We've been physical. We've been able to run the football very effectively. I think that's a real positive. I think defensively, from the last 4 games to the first 4 games, we've gotten better, and we've settled in. I think we know who we are. We know who our playmakers are. We've gotten some guys a lot of experience, from where we were 8 weeks ago. So I think our kicker has had a heck of a year. Our punter is hitting his stride. We've had big plays in special teams. We've blocked kicks. We've had big returns. So, we're I think you're always a work in progress, but as far as where we are, we're a team that still has its best football in front of them. We have not played a complete game yet. We've had moments and quarters. So the next thing for us is to really put it all together. That's kind of where that's the next step for us. Just put it all together, really execute our plan to win with precision. We've been really good at bits and pieces of it, but we've got to put it all together because that's what it's going to take. To win at this phase of our journey this year, it takes you got to be really detailed. You got to be very precise in executing the aspects of your plan to win.
What will your interest level be tonight when the playoff rankings are announced?
Very little, very little. It just doesn't matter, right? It'd be high interest if I was going to find out where we were going tonight. But the only thing I'm interested in is trying to win in South Bend. That's really it, because that's all that matters. They may come out tonight and say we're the number 1 team in America, right? Ain't nobody going to give us a trophy for that. So it just doesn't matter. And if they say you're the number 10 team in America, well, that doesn't matter either. It just doesn't. It really has no relevance at this point. So the only thing that matters is how we play against Notre Dame.
For your teams of the past, is this unusually late for a team not to have played a complete game yet?
2016, I don't know that we played a complete game all year, to be honest with you. I aged dog years in 16. Remember all year everybody's like, what's wrong with Clemson? They stink. They barely beat Troy. We had, 8 games, 6 points or less. Deshaun Watson was either a touchdown or an interception, right? And everybody's like, what's wrong with Deshaun? This and that. And my frustration, that team in my mind, it's 22 now. I look back at that team, and that team, from where we were, 15 might have been our best team, honestly. And but I look back at that team from where we were in that locker room in Arizona to where we ended up. And the frustrating thing about that team, at times we were dysfunctionally good, and that can be very frustrating to be as a coach. But it was such a talented group, but it was like they just wanted to push fast forward. Can we just get to Tampa? We know where we're going, and that's as opposed to no, we need to beat Troy, right? And I think that's I'll probably write about it in a book one day. But that's kind of that they were so good, and but next thing you know, you're up 17, and there's 7 minutes to play. Next thing you know, it's an onside kick, right? So I feel like I'm kind of reliving a little bit of that with this group. So that was a year where we didn't play many complete games. we just won, right? And then it kind of caught up with us against Pitt. You know, what we have? I don't know. We had 650 yards of offense, and they had about 600 too. But I think Deshaun turned it over 3 times, maybe inside like the 10. I mean, it was just bad, right? Because you're getting all these yards and you're not getting anything for it, kind of like Syracuse. But we ended up getting beat, and I thought we played better after that. But you know, even in the championship game that year, it was that VTech in Orlando? Was that the bathroom thing? And we get down there in Orlando and had the same thing. We kind of had a lead in that game. Next thing you know, I think we might have come down an onside kick, but it was we just couldn't quite put them away, or we thought we'd have them away, and then they'd be right back. And well, I the complete game was Ohio State. We won 31-0. Nobody predicted that, right? Like nobody predicted that. I'm not sure many people picked us to win, but that was probably our one complete game. The national championship was an unbelievable game, but it wasn't a complete game. We fumbled the ball, you know. We did some dumb stuff along the way. Didn't 4th and 1, we get stuffed. But we did good things. We found a way to win. So you know, and that's key. But in 18, we played a lot of complete games. You know, and we beat a lot of people by a lot of points, and then it was just like, you know, then it was they don't play nobody, right? And that was the narrative all that year, but we were just playing a lot of complete football games, and we were a really good team. And what we did during the season, we did in the playoff and in the national championship. We didn't do anything different, and that team was amazing. You know, they were truly in the moment, truly focused, truly enjoyed every second of it. It was a unique group. You know, our 16 group was like, okay, let's just get back to the national championship game. They were kind of pissed from 15 and like, you know, but you don't get to do, you know, that was a kind of a learning process of you know, what it takes to get there. So this team has been different in that we've just, you know, we haven't played a complete game, but we've found ways to win. That's the similarity, but I think our issues have been different, if you will, from 16.
It's not fast forward.